Today we're taking a look at these college basketball matches, which are happening on Sunday, January 29, 2023, and giving you our team picks for today. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and make sure to watch it till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Also check out our Patreon if you want access our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. You will find the link in description and comments section below. One more thing before we start, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. Villanova Wildcats vs Providence Friars. The Providence Friars end a two-game homestand Sunday afternoon with a game in Philadelphia against the Villanova Wildcats. Providence comes into Sunday ranked number 23 in the nation, riding a two-game win streak after a 21-point blowout against Butler. Offensively, Providence dominated the game, allowing only 58 points with 37.9% shooting and forced 10 total turnovers. Offensively, Providence was dominant as well, pouring in nearly 56% of their shots, scored 79 points after a 43-point second half. The Wildcats won their last two games and 6 of their last 8 home games. They have played well offensively at home, scoring more than 72 points per game. They've taken advantage of their chances at the charity stripe, making more than 80% of their free throws. Their rebounding has been good and will help them get more scoring chances, and they don't turn the ball over a lot, so don't expect them to give the Friars a lot of easy scoring opportunities. The Friars usually play well defensively, but they've struggled on the road where they are giving up more than 70 points per game, so expect them to have a hard time slowing down the Wildcats in this game. The Friars are also playing well, but they have dropped their last 2 road games. They have struggled offensively on the road, scoring a little over 71 points per game. They are very aggressive on the offensive glass, which will give them more scoring chances, but they're very careless with the ball, which will lead to easy scoring opportunities for the Wildcats, who average more than 6 steals per game at home. Our team pick is Villanova Wildcats plus 1 point. With Villanova holding opponents under 68 points per game at home, expect them to keep Providence's offense in check. East Carolina Pirates vs Wichita State Shockers. The Wichita State Shockers visit Williams Arena at Minges Coliseum in Greenville, North Carolina on Sunday to play the East Carolina Pirates in an American Athletic Conference matchup. Wichita State dropped to 10-10 overall and 3-5 in AAC play following its 95-90 loss to Tulane on Wednesday in overtime. The leading scorer for Wichita State was Jaquin Walton with 24 points. The Wichita State Shockers have been inconsistent in AAC play and have only won 3 of their last 8 games. East Carolina rebounded with a 10-point victory against Tulsa last time out and already beat the Shockers by a convincing 79-69 score on the road in the first meeting. Our team pick is East Carolina Pirates plus 1.5 points. Furthermore, the Shockers are weak offensively. They are shooting an abysmal 42.1% on the season, ranking them 304th, and have an abysmal 29.1% mark from 3-point range. This is key as the Pirates' top strength has been the defense. They have allowed 69 or fewer points in 7 of their last 10 games. ECU also has a rebounding advantage. They have a +3 margin, while Wichita State has an even margin. It's no surprise the Shockers were out-rebounded by the Pirates in the first meeting. Penn State Nittany Lions vs Michigan Wolverines. The Michigan Wolverines visit Bryce Jordan Center in University Park, Pennsylvania on Sunday to play the Penn State Nittany Lions in a Big Ten tilt. Michigan dropped to 11-9 overall and 5-4 in Big Ten play following its 75-70 loss to the Purdue Boilermakers on Thursday. The leading scorer for Michigan was Hunter Dickinson with 21 points. Michigan was out-rebounded by Purdue 34-26. Michigan won the first meeting this season, but the Wolverines continue to sputter in big games. The Wolverines simply don't have a ton of scoring depth to rely on in clutch situations behind Dickinson, which makes things difficult. Jett Howard is questionable after missing the game against Purdue and logging only 15 minutes against Minnesota before leaving with an ankle injury. If he doesn't go, that takes the team's second leading scorer out of the mix. Penn State is a terrific perimeter shooting team and they are eager to shake off their struggles against Rutgers. The Nittany Lions are 10-1 at home this season, while Michigan is only 1-3 on the road, with that win coming over a struggling Minnesota team back in December. Our team pick is Penn State Nittany Lions -4 points. That, coupled with the injury report, doesn't help the Wolverines here. Take Penn State in this contest. George Mason Patriots vs St. Joseph's Hawks. The St. Joseph's Hawks visit Eagle Bank Arena in Fairfax, Virginia on Sunday for an Atlantic 10 conference clash against the George Mason Patriots. St. Joseph's dropped to 9-11 overall and 3-5 in A10 play following its 92-91 loss to George Washington. The leading scorer for St. Joseph's was Lynn Greer III with 31 points. The loss snapped a 3-game winning streak for the Hawks. The way George Mason has gone this season, this has to be a win, right? Win 1, lose 1, win 1, lose 1. Since they lost their last game, logic would dictate that they are due to win this one. There is a concern and caveat, that being Ronald Polite, the team's third leading scorer, who is questionable. If he does not play, I'd be less confident in this call, but if he has won the court, I like the home team Patriots to win and cover here. Our team pick is George Mason. It could well come down to the 3, as George Mason shoots the 3 ball better and defends it better. Take George Mason here to cover. Purdue Boilermakers vs Michigan State Spartans. The Michigan State Spartans go back on the road Sunday to West Lafayette in for a game against the Purdue Boilermakers. Michigan State comes into Sunday 7 games above .500 after winning 2 of the last 3, following a 2-point win against Iowa on Thursday. Defensively, Michigan State played great, allowing only 61 points on 45.6% shooting, and the Spartans forced 13 turnovers in the game. Offensively, Michigan State did just enough, making 38.7% of their shots, but knocked down 8 long balls to score 63 points, including 33 in the second half. 4 of the last 5 meetings between Michigan State and Purdue have been decided by 5 points or less, with Michigan State covering as an underdog in the last 3 head-to-head matchups. I expect to see another tightly contested game on Sunday. Our team pick is Michigan State plus 8.5 points. Zach Edey is going to be a difficult matchup, as he scored half of Purdue's points in the win over Michigan State on January 16, but I expect head coach Tom Izzo to have a good game plan in place for the Spartans to cover. Canisius Golden Griffins vs Manhattan Jaspers. The Manhattan Jaspers continue a road trip Sunday afternoon with a game in Buffalo, New York against Canisius. Manhattan comes into Sunday struggling this season 7 games below .500 after losing 3 of the last 5, including 2 in a row, after a 2-point loss to Rider. Defensively, Manhattan struggled against Rider, allowing 67 points, including 34 in the second half on 48.9% shooting in the game. Offensively, Manhattan was mediocre, scoring only 65 points on 44.2% shooting, but the Jaspers made only 60% from the free throw line and turned the ball over 13 times in the loss. The Golden Griffins have lost 3 of their last 4 games and 3 of their last 4 home games. They aren't very good offensively, and they play worse at home, where they are scoring more than 67 points per game. They weren't aggressive on the offensive glass in their last 3 games, so don't expect them to get a lot of extra scoring chances against the Jaspers. The Jaspers aren't very good defensively, but they play better on the road, where they are giving up a little over 71 points per game, so expect them to keep Canisius's offense in check. The Jaspers also struggled in recent games, but their scoring has gone up in recent games, with the team scoring over 67 points per game. They rebound the ball well and do a good job on the offensive glass, which will lead to more scoring opportunities. They also cut back on their turnovers in their last 3 games and won't give the Golden Griffins a lot of easy scoring opportunities. Our team pick is Manhattan Jaspers plus 4.5 points. The Griffins aren't very good defensively and don't play much better at home, so expect them to have a hard time slowing down the Jaspers in this game. Go with Manhattan to cover the spread. Robert Morris Colonials vs Oakland Golden Grizzlies. The Oakland Golden Grizzlies continue a road trip Sunday afternoon with a game in Pennsylvania against the Robert Morris Colonials. Oakland comes into Sunday 4 games below .500, but have won 4 of the last 5, including 2 in a row, after a 9-point victory over Detroit Mercy. Defensively, Oakland controlled the game, allowing only 67 points on 38.8% shooting, and the Golden Grizzlies forced 10 turnovers in the victory. Offensively, Oakland was the better team, scoring 38 points in each half on 44.4% shooting and 36.4% from beyond the arc. The Colonials come in on a 2-game winning streak and 6-2 at home this season. In addition, RMU has an opportunity to get back to .500 in league play with a win over Oakland. In the first game, RMU struggled to shoot the ball, but should find more success at home against an Oakland team that is just 318th in the nation in field goal defense. RMU will do a lot of damage on the boards in this one, with Oakland ranked just 333rd in total rebounding, and can slow down Oakland's offense, with the nation's 123rd ranked scoring defense. Our team pick is Robert Morris minus 2.5 points. Oakland is just 4-7 away from home this season, which bodes well for RMU. Iona Gaels vs Quinnipiac Bobcats. The Quinnipiac Bobcats will go back on the road Sunday afternoon to New Rochelle, New York for a matchup with the Iona Gaels. Quinnipiac comes into Sunday 10 games above .500 on the year, riding a long winning streak following a 5-point victory against Canisius. Defensively, Quinnipiac controlled the game, allowing only 82 points on 45.3% shooting and forced 9 turnovers in the victory. Offensively, Quinnipiac was lights out, pouring in 87 points on 53.2% shooting, and the Bobcats made 6 shots from 3-point land as well. Iona fizzled in the second half on the road against Siena and has to try and recapture their early season success to avoid falling further in the conference standings. The Gaels have sputtered without Slazinski, who is likely done for the year, and Jefferson, who is out indefinitely, and they have to hope that they can find ways to fix those losses. Iona has been solid at home, posting a 6-1 record on the year, but Quinnipiac has been terrific as the visiting team this year. The Bobcats are 7-2 on the road, including a win over Ryder, and they have momentum on their side right now with 6 straight wins. Our team pick is Quinnipiac Bobcats plus 6 points. Seeing how inconsistent Iona has been of late, it's tough to trust them, even at home. Iowa Hawkeyes vs Rutgers Scarlet Knights. The Iowa Hawkeyes head home on Sunday and will welcome in the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. The Hawkeyes are 11th in the Big Ten with a 12-8 record. Iowa has won 5 of their last 10 games and are riding a 2-game losing streak. The Hawkeyes are 9-2 on their home court. Iowa is averaging 35.3 rebounds per game. This is a must-win spot for an Iowa team that is slipping out of on the bubble status for the NCAA tournament. The Hawkeyes have 12 wins on the season and need some signature wins to add to their resume. The Hawkeyes are 9-2 at home this season and have the kind of team rebounding that can compete with a Rutgers team that is tough on the boards. Iowa will need to stretch out the Rutgers defense with its perimeter shooting and then hit the glass for second-chance points. Iowa also protects the ball even better than Rutgers this season, so the Hawkeyes will not give away possessions. Our team pick is Iowa minus 3.5 points. I like the more desperate team in this spot to pull out a win at home against a Rutgers team that is just 2-3 on the road. Illinois Chicago Flames vs Bradley Braves. The Bradley Braves visit Credit Union 1 Arena in Chicago, Illinois on Sunday for a Missouri Valley Conference clash with the UIC Flames. Bradley improved to 14-8 overall and 7-4 in MVC play following its 79-75 victory over Illinois State. The leading scorer for Bradley was Malavi Leons with 16 points. The Braves committed 10 turnovers but forced Illinois State to turn the ball over 24 times. Bradley isn't an average basketball team, as its ATS record 11-10 suggests. The Braves are experienced, veteran-led, and solid on both ends of the floor. They'll win and cover against a Flames squad that's simply not in their class. Our team pick is Braves cover. The Braves, 52nd nationally in schedule-adjusted defensive efficiency, hold their opponents to 62 points per game and under 40% from the field. They'll shine on Sunday versus a Flames team that barely shoots 41% and is ranked 323rd in offensive efficiency. UIC is also one of the worst rebounding teams in the NCAA, minus 7.1 rebounding margin. Siena College vs Marist. The Siena Saints, 14-7, 8-2 mock, visit the Marist Red Foxes, 7-12, 3-7 mock, at McCann Arena in Poughkeepsie, New York on Sunday for a Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference game. Siena defeated the Iona Gaels 70-53 on Friday. The Saints have won 9 of the last 11 and are first in mock. Marist was defeated by Rider 68-52 on Friday and has lost 3 straight. Siena will play without Jordan Kellier and Tayland Owens, while Javian McCollum is questionable. Marist does not have any players listed on its injury list. Siena is scoring an average of 69.9 points per game, which has helped the Saints to cover the number in 8 of the last 10 and sit first in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference with a 1-game lead. Marist has a solid defense that holds opponents to an average of 65.7 points per game, but the Red Foxes are struggling on the offensive end, scoring an average of just 62.1 points per game and hitting only 40.3% of their shots overall and 31.2% of their attempts from three-point land. Marist has failed to cover the spread in each of its last 3 and in 6 of the last 10. Our team pick is Siena Saints minus 4.5 points. On the season, Siena is 13-7-1 at TS, while Marist is just 8-10-1. Fairfield Stags vs Rider Broncs. The Rider Broncs remain on the road Sunday and will travel to Fairfield to take on the Stags. Rider beat Marist 68-52 on Friday. Dwight Murray led the way for Rider in the win with 14 points. Murray leads the Broncs on the season with 16.4 points per game. Rider is shooting 75.2% from the free throw line. The Rider Broncs are clicking. They have won 4 consecutive games, highlighted by a road victory against one of the best teams in the conference in Iona. Fairfield has lost 2 out of their last 3 conference home games. They were the favorite in those defeats. Our team pick is Rider Broncs plus 3 points. Furthermore, Rider is the much better offensive team. They are averaging 104.6 points per 100 possessions, compared to only 98.1 points per 100 by Fairfield. That 98.1 rating pegs Fairfield 294th in DI in adjusted offensive efficiency. The Stags rely on defense to win games, but the Broncs are also playing strong defense recently. The Broncs have allowed an average of only 62.8 points in their last 5 games. Youngstown State Penguins vs Detroit Mercy Titans. The Detroit Mercy Titans skipped down to the Buckeye State to battle the Penguins of Youngstown State on Sunday afternoon. The Titans are out to a disappointing 8-14 record, while the Penguins have been much better with a record of 16-6. When these 2 teams met 2 weeks ago, Youngstown State beat Detroit Mercy 84-79. These 2 teams played a couple of weeks ago, and Youngstown State prevailed by just 5 points. While this game is home, I still don't see the Penguins covering the 8-point spread. Detroit plays everyone tough, as they only lost to the top team in the league, Northern Kentucky, by 1 point in overtime. And the Penguins are coming off a close call at home against Oakland, winning only by 4 points. Our team pick is Detroit plus 8 points. No one has been able to stop Davis this year, as he dropped 32 points on the Penguins back in their last meeting. He's that good and will keep this game close enough for Detroit to cover. St. John's Red Storm vs Georgetown Hoyas. The Georgetown Hoyas make their way to the Big Apple on Sunday afternoon to battle the Red Storm of St. John's. The Red Storm have a record of 13-8, while the Hoyas' record sits at just 6-15. St. John's won both head-to-head matchups against Georgetown handily last season. The Hoyas are currently 8 games back of Xavier at 1-9 in conference, while the Red Storm are 6 games back at 3-7 in the Big East. The Red Storm are 1-7 at TS in their last 8 home games versus a team with a losing road record, and 1-6 at S in their last 7 versus a team with a losing straight-up record. The Hoyas earned a momentous win this week, beating DePaul to snap a 29-game losing streak. They'll compete to win another at Madison Square Garden, which is why I'll take them at plus 10 on the spread. Neither team is good. ATS Georgetown is 8-12 and St. John's is 9-12, but the Hoyas have won 3 straight. ATS our team pick is Georgetown plus 10 points. The Hoyas will play much better defensively after allowing DePaul to shoot nearly 50% from the floor and could have some success on the offensive end against a St. John's team that just surrendered 104 points. Georgetown will do enough to keep the margin of victory to single digits. Cleveland State Vikings vs Iupui Jaguars. The Cleveland State Vikings host the Iupui Jaguars on Sunday. Cleveland State is coming off a 79-74 victory over Purdue FW at home. The Vikings finished the game shooting 58.2% from the field and 37.5% from downtown. Cleveland State pulled in 31 total rebounds with 21 on the defensive end and 10 on the offensive end. The Vikings shot 9 of 10 from the charity stripe and got 6 total steals. UPI has played poorly this season at 3-19 straight up but has covered its share of games. However, in the first meeting between the Jaguars and Cleveland State, the Jaguars were routed by the Vikings 89-54 and failed to cover the spread as 10.5-point underdogs at home. Playing on the road will be even more difficult for the Jaguars against a tough Cleveland State squad that has covered the spread in each of the last 5 games, including the cover against UPI. Cleveland State's defense is holding opponents to an average of 65.5 and faces an UPI offense that scores an average of only 63.1 points per game. Our team pick is UPI Jaguars plus 18.5 points. UPI will be without its second leading scorer Bryce Monroe, who is averaging 12.0 points per game. Illinois State Redbirds vs Southern Illinois Salukis. The Southern Illinois Salukis, 17-5, 9-2 MVC, will be going for their third consecutive road win when they face the Illinois State Redbirds, 8-14 3-8 MVC, on Sunday afternoon. The Salukis are coming off a 68-64 win over Murray State as 7.5-point favorites. The Redbirds are coming off a 79-75 loss to Bradley as 15-point underdogs. The Salukis have won 5 straight games and 4 of their last 5 road games. They don't have a high-scoring offense, but they played better in recent games, scoring more than 68 points per game in their last 3 games. They have taken advantage of their opportunities at the charity stripe, making over 74% of their free throws. They do a good job finding the open man, and they were very aggressive on the offensive glass in their last 3 games, which will give them more scoring chances. They also do a good job protecting the ball on the road and won't give the Redbirds a lot of extra scoring opportunities. The Redbirds have struggled defensively at home and didn't play well in their last 3 games, giving up more than 71 points per game, and will have a hard time slowing down the Salukis in this game. The Redbirds have lost 4 straight games in 3 of their last 4 home games. They aren't very good offensively, but they play better at home where they are scoring a little over 70 points per game. Their rebounding has been good and will help them stay in this game, but they've been careless with the ball, turning it over more than 17 times per game in their last 3 games, which will lead to easy scoring opportunities for the Salukis, who average more than 8 steals per game on the road. Our team picks Southern Illinois Salukis minus 4.5 points. The Salukis have played well defensively, even on the road, holding opponents under 65 points per game, and won't have a hard time slowing down the Redbirds in this game. Go with Southern Illinois to cover the spread. Belmont Bruins vs Drake Bulldogs. The Drake Bulldogs, 16-6, 7-4 MVC, continue their Missouri Valley Conference schedule on the road Sunday when visiting the Belmont Bruins, 16-6, 9-2 MVC, in Nashville, Tennessee, at the Curb Event Center Arena. Drake defeated Indiana State 70-68 on Tuesday night for their second consecutive victory and 5th win in the last 6. Belmont defeated Evansville 73-64 on Wednesday night. The Bruins have won each of their last 7. Drake is 4th in the conference standings, and Belmont is tied for 1st. Drake and Belmont are injury-free. The Belmont Bruins will face a tough defense from the Drake Bulldogs, but Belmont will be at home, and the Bruins are playing very well offensively. Belmont averages to 74.7 points per game, led by Ben Shepherd, with an average of 18.7 points per game. Shepherd is knocking down 46.8% of his shots overall and 41.7% from 3-point territory. Belmont's top 3 scorers, who are all averaging in double figures, are shooting between 41.7% and 47.8% from 3-point territory. Our team pick is Belmont Bruins minus 1 point. Belmont has covered the spread in 5 of its last 7, while Drake has struggled to cover the spread, failing to cover 6 of its last 9. Southern Methodist Mustangs vs South Florida Bulls. The South Florida Bulls continue a road trip Sunday afternoon with a game in Dallas, Texas against the SMU Mustangs. South Florida comes into Sunday 3 games below .500 following a 3-point overtime loss against Temple. Defensively, South Florida was terrible, allowing 79 points including 9 in overtime on 45.2% shooting, and Temple knocked down 8 long balls as well. Offensively, South Florida did shoot the ball well, making nearly 46% of their shots and 30.8% from beyond the arc, but scored only 6 points in overtime and turned the ball over 16 total times, resulting in the loss. SMU has been overvalued by the betting market throughout the season, covering the spread just once in its last 7 games. The Mustangs have not been any better at home, picking up 1 win in its last 6 home games. South Florida has not been picking up more wins than SMU, but it has been undervalued by bettors, covering the spread in 4 of its last 5 games. Our team pick is South Florida plus 2 point. The Bulls have been outstanding on the offensive glass, and they are facing an SMU team that is struggling to rebound on both ends of the court. They are also one of the worst shooting teams in the country, so I am not high on the Mustangs right now. Tulsa Golden Hurricane vs Memphis Tigers. The Memphis Tigers visit Donald W. Reynolds Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma on Sunday for an American Athletic Conference clash against the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. Memphis improved to 16-5 overall and 6-2 in OC play following its 99-84 victory over the SMU Mustangs on Thursday. Kendrick Davis was the leading scorer for Memphis with 25 points. Memphis has won each of its last 4. There aren't a ton of positive things to say about the way either of these teams have been performing in the betting market this season, but I can't see Tulsa hanging around on Sunday afternoon. The Golden Hurricane are one of the worst defensive teams in the country and are not much better on the other end. They also do not have the size to both Memphis, which has been the only real issue for the Tigers this season. Our team pick is Memphis minus 12 points. Memphis is solid on both ends and is the 10th most experienced team in college basketball, so I trust the Tigers to take care of business in this game.